Hi guys, Dr. John Shea here. Anyway, we've been posed with a question about what is really skin rejuvenation, and the answer I'm going to give you is probably going to shock you, and there's going to be a lot of things that are not what you thought. And so I'm going to share those things with you right now. The scary thing about skin rejuvenation is that there's so much out there that everybody's saying is skin rejuvenation, but how are you and how are we supposed to know as just lay people and consumers what we're going to get, and is that the best thing for us? So this really hits us close to home and is deep in our hearts as far as what really matters, because we're called Rejuva U. We decided to call it Rejuva U because we didn't want it to be plastic U or superficial U or skin deep U or anything like that. We wanted to say rejuvenate you, and it wasn't about saying, oh, we're the top spa or whatever, top medical. It's about you. It's about the patient. It's about rejuvenating the person, the client. And when it comes to rejuvenation, there are a lot of misconceptions. One thing I heard on the radio was a ad that talked about how we're going to fight the effects of California sun, and now we have a way of rejuvenating the face, and it was a facelift. It was a form of a facelift where you're going to cut the skin, pull it back, tie it back up there, and they're saying, oh, we're creating facial rejuvenation by pulling this face back. And a lot of you probably have seen this and don't like this, and when the face is pulled back and you no longer look like yourself because everything's stretched back. And that is something that we abhor. We do not want that. Some people maybe feel that that's their only thing they can do, and there are probably some cases that there's not much you can do because things have gotten so bad that that's all they can do. But that's not rejuvenation. So plastic surgery is not rejuvenation of the face. It may create the appearance or the illusion of it, but it is not true rejuvenation. Because rejuvenation, it's the act of actually taking that organ, that tissue, whether it's skin or your heart or something else, and making it into a state of what it used to be, rejuvenate, and make it, literally turning the clock back to a younger state, not just faking it. So plastic surgery has its uses and has helped a lot of people change the appearance of the person, maybe help fix deformities or injuries, or somebody just wants to change how they look. They just don't like a certain aspect about themselves. They want to change it, and that has it can be beautifully done for that purpose. But if you're just talking about rejuvenating yourself and your skin, that is not the best option to do that. There's a lot more that you can do. So it's not plastic surgery. Plastic surgery has its place, but facial rejuvenation, skin rejuvenation is not cutting and pulling, because all you've done is taken the same old skin, and sometimes people put it cruelly, say you're taking the same old crappy skin and just moving it to a new spot. You're just taking it and repositioning it, but it's the same bad skin. You haven't improved or rejuvenated anything. What else is not rejuvenation? Getting Botox. Well, with this COVID, and all of us have been at home with COVID, there was a while where there was lockdowns for several months, and most of the lockdowns here in California lasted at least for 3 months before some places could open again. And our office, we closed for at least 3 months, more than 3 months. And patients were rushing in to a lot of facilities to get Botox, because Botox happens to last about 3 months. Actually, the movement starts coming back sooner than 3 months, but by 3 months, you have movement, and then it's just going to get worse. So people who are dependent on Botox or are used to getting their Botox to stop them from making these facial movements like this or that, or squinting, like here, crow's feet, glabella, frown lines, forehead, they would Botox that, and Botox is a botulinum toxin. It's a protein, but some people say it's a toxin. And what that does is just paralyzes the muscle. Now, if you paralyze the muscle, are you actually rejuvenating anything? No. I have young kids, and their skin's very young, but do they look like they're paralyzed? No. In fact, they have a very animated face. So when you paralyze your face, you don't make yourself look any younger. In fact, I like to say that the over Botox face is a sign of a desperate older person, because they're just trying everything they can, thinking they can rejuvenate themselves, and they overdo the Botox, and then suddenly the face is just frozen. Here I am happy. Here I am angry. This is just how I have no expressions. And it's really sad to see when people resort to that, because they're being misled by their physician or nurse or whoever the practitioner is by telling them, oh, you just need more Botox. Oh, you want to look younger? Do more Botox. But Botox is not rejuvenation. Botox is a protein, a medication that lasts, the effect lasts for less than 3 months, and its action is to paralyze muscle. How does paralyzing a muscle rejuvenate? It doesn't. Botox in your face doesn't rejuvenate. Now, it can prevent me from, if I had it here, then I can't make that motion. So if I'm upset or I'm just concentrated thinking, I don't walk around like that. People walk around like this, people think you're mad or something, and they think you're not approachable. So there are good uses of Botox. Just don't be misled to think that it's somehow rejuvenation. Now, when you smile, you can smile with your mouth, but some people smile with their mouth, and then they also do this. This muscle around the eye, kind of a round muscle here, contracts and pulls it together, and it gives you crow's feet. Now, over time, if you have deep lines, it's a sign of aging. If you're in a room with a lot of people and you're trying to think, well, I wonder how, if you're just mentally or subconsciously guessing who's older or who's younger, you look for those signs. And somebody with a lot of lines around their eyes, they're like this, that are ingrained, you think they're older. They actually might not be, but seeing lines are an issue. So if you can Botox it and prevent you from moving, maybe you can simulate being younger. But long term, I would say that the Botox is not a rejuvenation thing, but it is a preventative thing. It doesn't last long. You got to keep redoing it. But when you do have it on board, it's at least preventing you from doing these movements. And if you don't make these movements a lot, then you don't create the creases. It's just like if you took a piece of paper and kept folding it over and over, the crease gets deeper and deeper to the point that the piece of paper breaks apart. You've scored it and it just gets deeper until it gets super thin. The crease is really deep ingrained and it won't go away. So Botox has its use, but does it rejuvenate skin? No, it's the same old skin that just maybe didn't get folded as much, but it's still aging skin, and every day your skin is getting older. And that's another thing to think about is when people say, well, how long does it last? Well, yeah, Botox lasts about 3 months. And fillers, which I'm going to come to next, last maybe, depending on what they are, 6 months, 9 months, a year, sometimes 2 years. They have their own lifespan to it, and then they go away, and you're back to where you started from. Actually, you don't go back to where you started from, because in those 6, 9, 12 months, you're not the same. Your skin is always aging. If you don't do anything else to it, your skin is slowly declining and going downhill. So does Botox or whatever these things you do, when they wear off, do you go back to where you started from? No, you don't. You're actually continuing to get worse off. So we've covered plastic surgery, cut and pull. You just taken the old skin and stretched it. It's still old skin, and tomorrow it's older, and the next week and the next month it's older and older. You paralyze the face with Botox. The skin is still aging. You didn't turn back the clock at all. It's still aging, still going downhill. So these things are not rejuvenation. And fillers, Juvederm, Voluma, Radius, these things are just fillers. Like, they just plump things up. You're just inflating things. And so I had a patient that we were doing a procedure using fat. Actually, it was fat transfer that we're putting into the face, and she was like, don't make me look like a Kardashian, because some of these people have gone and they've inflated their faces with fillers so much that they look artificial. But why do they do that? Well, I guess if it's sagging loose skin and you inflate it, it stretches out and it looks better. At least looks like there's less wrinkles. And then people have deep lines down here that's sagging down at their jowls. If you inflate the cheeks up, it seems to lift it. But again, this is not sustainable, because your skin keeps aging, it keeps loosening and stretching out over time. It's gotten looser. Now you got to fill it more, and next year you're going to fill it more just to make up for that extra looseness in the skin. So that's not rejuvenation. And in fact, you can't just keep inflating your face, because you look ridiculous and you no longer look like yourself. So fillers, Voluma, Juvederm, Radius, any of these things are not rejuvenation. They're just fillers. So, which comes to the question, well, what is rejuvenation? How can I actually rejuvenate the skin? And it's sad. A couple years ago, I was watching Oprah, and Dr. Oz was on her show. This is when Oprah had, this woman who had this huge talk show on TV. If you don't know who she is, but she had Dr. Oz, some doctor that she had chosen, and he said, "Your body can't make any more collagen. That's it. You have it, and that's it. You can't make any collagen. Can't make any healthier skin." And I thought, oh my goodness. How much further from the truth can you get? I mean, maybe when you don't have your talking points and your teleprompter for you to talk about, you don't really know what you're talking about. You're just throwing it out there. Because if you can't make collagen, how are you supposed to heal? What if you cut your skin or you get a burn? If you can't make new collagen, how is it supposed to repair itself? So the point is, your body has the ability to repair itself, but normally it's due to injury. But it can make it. So are there treatments that can hack that and actually get your body to build more collagen for you and to restore what's lost in the skin? And the answer is yes. And that's what Rejuve, what we're doing here, is all about, is we want to make sure we're rejuvenating your skin. And so we look at the way the face ages, and the face ages in multiple ways on the face, especially when it comes to skin. Number one are discolorations and blemishes. Number two is laxity of skin. Number three would be texture, wrinkles, roughness of skin. The other things we see with the aging face is that you lose volume in the face. Fat actually goes away on your face. It deflates. Typically in a triangle in this cheeks here and here, you lose fat, it starts to flatten out. You lose in the temples, it becomes to sink in. And as it deflates, the skin droops. You notice that in the shape of a face, a more youthful shape of the face is more heart-shaped, where it's fuller in the cheek and narrow at the bottom of the face. And as you get older, it turns into a triangle, where you see a lot of these lines going down here, the jowls come out this way, and you see faces like that. If you looked at a group of pictures of young and old people and you compared them, you would notice the heart shape with the younger face and then the triangle face, big, heavier at the bottom with the older patients, older people. So a lot of that is the loss of volume. So volume changes, loss of fat in the face happen as you age, as well as bone loss. In fact, your bone, it's called bone resorption. It starts to absorb your bone around your orbit. There's the rim around here, the bone here, starts to be absorbed, starts to go flatten out, and this actually opens up. And so there's bony changes as well. So there is a use of fillers, and that's why that's part of trying to replace what's been lost. And so those are things that we look at with the aging face. And the things that we can rejuvenate are the skin. We actually can rejuvenate skin. And it's sad because we've looked at skin and thought of it as an expendable type of, it's actually an organ, but it's this part, it's not expendable. It's just going to get wear and tear. It's like your shoes. And the bottom of your shoes over time is going to wear out. Then what are you going to do? You try to resole it, but it's a given fact that it's just something that's going to wear out. But what about your other organs, like your heart and your lungs and your muscles and your cardiovascular system? Yeah, some people have a hard time with that and they get heart attack and there's going to be issues. But we kind of know now, especially people who understand fitness and nutrition, that with the right exercise, with the right nutrition, the right activities, you can actually rehabilitate your body to become strong again. When you weren't able to go through certain activities without getting winded and tired, people have found ways to strengthen themselves again. Now they've been able to run marathons or at least start to engage in a lot of healthy activities. And they've basically rejuvenated those organs to make them healthier and function better. But when it comes to the skin, we've kind of ignored that. We end up paralyzing muscles underneath it, which doesn't help the skin, or we cut and pull, but it's still the same old skin. One analogy that I'm talking about the heart and everything was that let's say you were kind of weak and tired and a cardiovascular system, your heart and lungs were just weak and you just didn't have energy. And what if you went to your heart doctor or your regular doctor and said, gee, my heart's just weak and I just don't have energy. And their solution was to give you a drink, like an energy drink with a lot of caffeine. Here's a a Red Bull, a Monster drink, a 5-hour energy drink. Drink this, you'll have energy. And that was the solution for you, right? I mean, of course, that sounds ridiculous because that wouldn't do anything for you. And instead, years go by after doing that and you get a heart attack, and then you have to have open heart surgery, and they go in and they cut you open, and then they replumb your heart with the different arteries or whatever your problem might be, and they close you back up. Now, did that surgery somehow make your heart young and healthy again and suddenly able to do more? No, it just kept you from dying, right? It's the same bad heart that they're just trying to compensate for. Well, let's say your skin's aging, and you go, it's the same analogy if you go see your doctor or your provider and they say, hey, we'll just plump you up with an artificial filler that wears off over time. We'll paralyze your muscles. In fact, and just do that for a while. And what happens is your skin is just going to age, continue to decline. It won't help anything. And then one day you get a facelift and they cut and they pull it back. Did they do anything? No, it's the exact same thing. It's like that. Having open heart surgery, allowing your heart to decline to that point where it needed surgery. Same thing with the face, allowing it to decline and not take care of it, not be a good steward of your skin and this largest organ in our body, our skin, allowing that to decline and then getting a facelift. You didn't really do anything for it. You're just trying to survive here. But at Rejuvenate, our answer is that no, you can do something now. Our whole purpose is to help you avoid surgery, whether it's your skin, your hair, your even feminine rejuvenation for women, vaginal rejuvenation, even for men with erectile dysfunction. We have great solutions for that. We're using technologies, whether it's lasers, radio frequency, electrical energy, now fractional ultrasound that's targeted, your own growth factors such as PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and other regenerative technologies. These things are used to actually help restore the skin and other organs to a younger, healthier state. I mean, there's studies with our photofacial RF using this device here. That treatment, there's evidence of how the broad spectrum of light pulses. It doesn't just erase the spots off the skin, it actually changes the skin to a younger state. And we know that it looks that way. We know that it seems to stay that way. We know that the skin doesn't develop diseases and precancerous things as often. In fact, just significantly less if you've had these treatments. And we know that if you biopsy the skin, the architecture of the skin actually looks younger. It doesn't look like the skin has been lasered. There are lasers that do that actually burn holes in your skin. And if you biopsy it, you see skin that has laser scars in it. Our particular treatment, the skin before and after, if you biopsied it, a pathologist would look at it and say, hey, this looks like a younger person compared to an older person. And actually, it's the after picture, the before and after. So the after picture of the biopsy looks like it came from a younger person. That's what rejuvenation is about. We want to rejuvenate it. And further studies, when they looked at it, they looked at DNA gene expression. And with DNA gene expression, they found that after the treatments, the DNA in the cells were behaving as if they were younger. So when you compare how your skin cells act from, say, somebody in their 20s versus somebody in their 70s, and that's what they did up at Stanford, they found that a younger person's DNA acts differently. It expresses proteins differently than a 70-year-old. So the younger DNA is calling out and sending out proteins and producing this. It's being active, trying to give it more elasticity, more hydration, more thickness, more immune support. So it's got all these things that it's asking for. But as you age, suddenly doesn't have the same immune system, so you get growths and problems on the skin more easily. It's thinner skin, it's not as hydrated, it's drier, it doesn't have this elasticity and thickness. All these things are not being expressed, even though the DNA, the blueprint's there, but they're just not being encoded for and being expressed. But after these treatments, the genes, it's almost like it wakes it up, so it thinks it's younger again and starts calling out for the growth factors to give it the elasticity, the hydration, the immune support. And that's rejuvenation, because the patients that we've done that on, they, gosh, literally they look like they haven't aged over a period of 5, 10, 15 years. So if they keep up the treatments and just do maintenance, it's like they didn't age. And so we have patients that will show up somewhere and they're well-known celebrity people, and their other contemporaries, same age as them, come running up to them and start pulling their hair back and trying to see where their scar is, like where you had to have done something. And if they say, no, I haven't done anything, it's just, this is me. And it's true. Everything they're saying is true, because the healthy skin they have, it's not because there's something that's fake that's been plumped in there, that's been injected or anything. It is just the healthy skin that's been maintained. That's rejuvenation. That's what we can do. That's along the lines of anti-aging. So that's what we stand for at Rejuview. And that's just one part with skin rejuvenation. We have other treatments that help with texture of the skin, treatments that help firm and tighten skin again and create lifting again. Not cutting and pulling. Your skin over time has aged and it expanded and is stretched out. Well, why cut it and pull it back? What we wanted to do is retract back to what it was. And that technology has existed. In fact, it's existed for many years, just people don't understand that that's possible. But it's possible. Not just it's possible, it's gotten better and better. And so we've got new technologies. We're one of the first, we're actually first in the LA County, greater LA area to offer the new SoftWave. And it uses fractional parallel ultrasound beams that directly target that collagen layer. And when you can target just that collagen layer and heat it to over 45 degrees Celsius, that collagen contracts and tightens, and then it remodels itself. So there's a lot of things that we can do. And so that's just an introduction to what rejuvenation is and what it's not. And we do a lot of other things that are all analogous to that. One thing is the knee joint, with osteoarthritis that's severe. We actually can do rejuvenation of that. Getting a knee replacement is not rejuvenation. That's just replacement with something artificial, going through surgery. Getting a steroid injection is not rejuvenating the knee. It's decreasing the inflammation and the symptoms of pain at that moment. And it's very temporary, but it's well known that use of steroids will cause atrophy of collagen. So suddenly you might feel better, but now you've accelerated the loss of cartilage in your knee joint, which is just going to lead you towards a knee replacement. People take ibuprofen a lot, and it's actually shown that now they're finding out that ibuprofen somehow impairs how collagen is being made. So then it might take away pain, but it's not actually helping you in your knee joint. But we'll use regenerative technologies, PRP. There's use of stem cells, exosomes. Those are things that have been used and that we have been very successful with people who needed a knee replacement and now are walking around. And we've even seen that in our oldest patient was 93 years old, needed double knee replacement surgery. And after her treatment, she's walking around, not needing surgery anymore. So those are things. That is rejuvenation. We want to restore. It's not just rejuvenation, it's the regenerative medicine that we really believe in. That's the future here. So find out more with Rejuview if you can. Give us a call, set up an appointment. We can talk to you via Zoom or a video conferencing over the phone, or we love meeting people in person. We have all our sanitation, social distancing, temperature checks. Everybody wears masks in the office, except for I'm just shooting this video. There's nobody in the office right now. And but we love seeing people in person as well as over video feeds. So anyway, thank you for staying with me this long. There's so much I can talk about and share with you, and I'm gonna share with that in future videos. So take care, be well, God bless.